Good morning, everybody. Buongiorno. I'm going to do this in English because we're recording this, and at least for the first few minutes that we do the opening comments, 100 years from now, when someone looks at the tape, they'll know what's going on, especially if those who don't speak Italian. But all kidding aside, my name's Anthony Tamburri, and I'm the Dean of the John D. Calandra Italian American Institute, and I want to welcome you all to this first activity of a nascent Italian language resource laboratory. It is an enterprise or an initiative or a type of center. We can't use that term for bureaucratic reasons, which has to do with all sorts of things within the university. It takes 10 years to get a center approved and all of that stuff. So we're calling ourselves a laboratory as opposed to maybe a collective or a cooperative or whatever. And in the program, you'll see our goals that upon which we're going to build this laboratory. It is something that was born out of the last couple of years of collaboration with a number of consulates around, Italian consulates around the country, all coordinated primarily through New York and through the embassy in Washington, which started with the crisis of the AP back in 2008 and continued through what we hope is a rebuilding of the AP, although I should underscore at the beginning that we have our work cut out for us. We may not be in a crisis mode, but we're definitely in an emergency mode with regard to the enrollments in the advanced placement courses, and especially the enrollments of those who take the exams. So if you keep that in mind for when you go back to your various homes and interact with some of the local teachers. But first, there are a number of people I need to thank for this workshop specifically and for the whole idea of this Italian Language Resource Laboratory. And first and foremost, I need, even though he's not here, I need to thank the president of Queens College, whose name is James Meiskens. He's a professor of philosophy, and it's so nice to have a president in the humanities, I must say, first and foremost. But President Meiskens, since my arrival, has been extremely generous with regard to the Calandra Institute and has always provided us with the necessary means for us to move forward, not just to maintain, but indeed to move forward. And he's not here today only because he wanted to come, but I insisted that he take the day off since he works, you know, presidents work long hours and fly in and out and so on and so forth, and he just came back from a trip somewhere in the East, China, Japan, or something like that. So anyway, he sends his greetings. There are people, the staff of Calandra, a number of people on the staff of Calandra. There are two of them, two of them here today. One is Rosario Musco, who's giving you your folders. The other is Lucia Grillo, who is in the back with the camera, and who eventually will lead a team of people who will eventually edit this, and it'll be up on con calma, you know, no haste here, and it'll definitely be up on YouTube, and we'll make sure that it's available eventually to everybody. We'll get DVD dubs made from CUNY TV. There are a couple of other people in Calandra. One is Carmine Pizzirusso, who is our technician and who makes sure that whatever is humanly possible to make works. And so then there are people within the Italian diplomatic community that have been extremely supportive of Calandra in general, but also of this workshop. One, you'll hear from him soon, is Carlo Davoli, who was instrumental in moving the idea of this forward, especially to get the funding. We were at an ACTFL, I think it was, in, Yeah. Whatever, we'll get it. We were at an ACTFL almost a year ago, I guess, we can say 10 months ago, and the idea of doing a workshop of this sort came up. Carlo was there, Minister Cristiano Maggipinto is there, the director of the Ufficio Scolastico of the embassy. Lucia Della Monta was there. These are people who made sure, who on the side of the Italian government, made sure that this didn't get lost on anyone's desk, and here we are. The other person from whom you'll hear soon is Roberto Dolci, who is from the University for Foreigners in Perugia, with whom we have 3 different types of agreements, and Roberto is basically a scholar in residence here at least 4 months a year. And so we've collaborated on a number of initiatives, not just language teaching and learning, but also at different levels. And so I like to think that we're perhaps the only institute of this type, Italian or Italian American, except for those few places that have their own campus, of course, in Italy, the enviable few universities that have their sort of, 40 or 50 acres in Florence, for example, who are friends of ours down the street. We have this wonderful exchange of teaching that goes on. Right now it's one way, but it's been 2-way. Actually, I should say it's been 2-way. So Roberto has also taught for us, and a couple of us have gone over there and taught mini courses for them. So as I said before, we have a type of emergency for the AP with regard to enrollment, and so please keep that in mind. I'm happy here, there's a mixture of people here from both K through 12 and the university, and that's very important. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a flaw within the Italian teaching community in the United States. There seems to be too much of a separation between the colleges, universities, and K through 12, and I say that as both someone who teaches at the university level, but also who started out his teaching career as a high school teacher. We need to make sure that those channels of communication not only are open, but indeed become collaborative, become actually working communications, because those of us who teach at the university at this point and who always wonder about numbers for majors as the dean comes down and says, gee, how many majors do you have? How sustainable is this program in Italian studies? Now that doesn't happen. That's not a problem at places like, Columbia and NYU and even Queens College or Hunter College, for example, within the CUNY system, but it is, I know, it can be an issue at other places, and I have taught at other places where indeed it was an issue. So, so we just need to open that up more. And perhaps, seeing how some of us in this audience are members of both the AATI and the AAIS, perhaps we need to speak to the leadership in both of those organizations to see if there can be a better collaboration between them. And with that, I'll stop my soapbox harangue. So I want to welcome you, and as I do, I want to also give the opportunity to Carlo Davoli, who is the director of the educational office here at the Consulate General of New York. As I said before, we probably wouldn't be here if he didn't push on his end, and so without further ado, Carlo, prego.